Part 1. The girl they never noticed. They didn't see her. Not really. Belmont High was the kind of school where the wrong shoes could make you invisible. If you weren't wearing designer, if your dad didn't drive a Tesla or sit on a board of directors, you were just static. Background noise. And Amina Cross, she was silence in a world of noise. Until the day she snapped. Amina had only been at Belmont for 4 months. She wasn't trying to make friends. She wasn't trying to make waves. She had a goal, graduate top of her class. Land a full ride to MIT, leave the noise behind. Her morning routine was meticulous. Ritual AM. Wake up 6:30 AM. Tai Chi in the backyard. PQA AM. Books, not breakfast. 10 AM. Headphones in, hoodie up, school walls on. But Belmont didn't like walls. Belmont liked masks. Smiles that sliced, compliments that killed, and Vincent Cole wore that mask better than anyone. Yo, Cross. You lost? She heard it before she saw him. Vincent, standing like he owned the hallway, hands in his varsity jacket, hair gelled like he woke up in a movie. People parted around him like he had gravity. Amina paused. She had AP physics in 5 minutes, but physics couldn't explain ego. You're in my way, she said, voice neutral. Vincent grinned. And you're in the wrong school. She stepped to the side. He stepped with her. The hallway slowed. Phones hovered. Friends whispered. This was no longer a hallway. It was a stage. You know, he continued, we don't usually let charity cases roam the top floor. Amina's backpack strap tightened under her grip. She'd let it go for weeks. The comments, the subtle shoves, the teachers who said nothing. But today felt different. Something ancient and ancestral stirred in her spine. Move. Wrong answer. He shoved. Her hard, her foot slid. She caught herself. But that wasn't the point. The point was power, the kind Vincent thought he had a monopoly on. Until she exhaled. Let the rage float through her fingers. Dropped her bag. Turned. Grabbed his wrist. Pivoted. Boom. Vincent was airborne. Legs flailing like a broken scarecrow, and then the floor caught him, loud, brutal, final. Silence. The hallway blinked, then exploded. Bro! She just bodied him. Somebody tag world star. Vincent groaned, his ego shattered across the linoleum like broken glass. Amina stepped over him without a word. Her heartbeat was steady. Her feet didn't shake. She didn't run. She didn't have to, because from that moment on, Belmont High didn't see Amina Cross as a charity case anymore. They saw her as a reckoning. Part 2. Rise of a Phantom Queen. The video hit the internet like wildfire. It didn't stay local. It didn't stay private. Within 10 hours, the clip had reached over 250,000 views on TikTok. Caption, private school bully gets folded like laundry by transfer student. Belmont High wasn't just buzzing, it was burning. And in the center of the storm stood Amina Cross. She didn't mean for any of it to happen. The fame, the whispers, the weird half stares and cautious grins. She just wanted to pass her physics quiz and stay off people's radar. But the hallway incident? That changed everything. By second period the next day, 3 different kids had asked to take selfies with her. By lunch, someone had drawn fan art of her flipping Vincent like a Mortal Kombat character and stuck it on every locker in the sophomore. Wing, yo, a girl called, trailing beside her in the cafeteria. You, like, it got hands. Where'd you learn to do that? Amina shrugged. My uncle. That was all she said. She didn't explain the hours spent in his small, dust-filled dojo. Didn't mention the summer she nearly quit after getting bruised during a takedown, or the nights she cried in silence because she felt like she didn't belong anywhere. Uncle Marcus had been the only person who ever taught her this one rule. Don't fight unless they leave you no choice, and if they do, end it. Vincent wasn't at school the next day, or the day after that. Rumors spread fast. His dad pulled him out. He's transferring. He's grounded until the next presidential election. But the truth, Vincent was hiding. He was used to, ruling with a smirk and a squad. Now he couldn't even walk down his own hallway without hearing whispers. Did you see her flip him? She made him fly. I thought that guy was untouchable. He watched the video again and again, over and over. Each time it stabbed deeper. He tried reporting it, said she attacked him unprovoked, but security footage said otherwise. Even the principal, Mr. Harlan, pulled him aside and said, maybe you should consider backing off. Vincent's father, a man with a strong jawline and stronger opinions, was furious. You're losing control, Vincent, he said, pacing their estate library. You let some transfer girl humiliate you. This family has a legacy. You're damaging our brand. Vincent stared out the window. He wasn't listening. He was remembering the look in Amina's eyes before she dropped him. Cold, steady, dangerous, no fear, and he hated it. He needed to get his reputation back. He needed revenge. Back at school, Amina kept her head down. She tried to ignore the sudden attention, the random kids dropping compliments, the silent stares from teachers who now looked at her like a grenade they couldn't defuse. But she felt it in every step she took. Like the walls had grown eyes. In chemistry class, she sat next to Dev Patel, a nervous junior who wore oversized hoodies and always smelled faintly of root beer. He had a permanent seat near the back, safe from attention. Today, though, he was watching. "Her, you okay?" he asked, whispering behind his spiral notebook. Amina blinked. "Yeah, why?" He leaned in slightly. "You're being watched, not like metaphorically, literally." She followed his eyes. Kyle. Vincent's goon, football lineman, built like a vending machine with legs, sitting 2 rows up, glancing at her every 5 seconds. "Since third period," Dev muttered. "He's been lurking, like, a lot." Amina's fingers twitched. "Thanks for the heads up," she whispered. Dev hesitated. "If you ever need backup," he added, adjusting his glasses. "I'm not a fighter or anything, but I'm good with cameras, audio, stuff like that." She turned toward him for the first time. "You a hacker?" "Not legally," he whispered with a crooked grin. For the first time in days, she smirked. That night, a note appeared in her locker, just a folded piece of paper. No name. "You got lucky. Meet me in the gym after school. No cameras, no help, just you and me. Let's finish this." Her stomach turned. She didn't need a signature. She knew who it was. Vincent. It was a trap. She could feel it in her spine. The kind of trap you walked into when you were tired of being hunted. She held the note all through lunch. Her mind was loud, but her body was calm. She could walk away, but she also knew this. If she ran now, he wouldn't stop. Vincent Cole was a monster with a bruised ego, and monsters don't disappear. They hide and wait to pounce harder. Dev noticed her staring into space. "You got something bad?" he asked. She handed him the note. He read it once, twice, then sat back. "This is real." "Yep." "You gonna go?" She nodded slowly. "I have to." Dev scratched his head, thinking, "Okay, then let me help." She raised an eyebrow. "No offense," she said, "but you don't strike me as backup material." "I'm not," he said, "but I'm paranoid. I've got a hidden camera set up in my lunchbox. Portable mic. You walk into that gym, I'll be watching." Amina stared at him. "You're serious?" "As a heart attack." "Why?" He hesitated, then shrugged. "Because no one helped me last year when Vincent's crew shoved me into a locker for posting about the student council, and because I'm tired of watching people like him run the school." She folded the note and tucked it into her pocket. "All right, hacker boy," she said. "Let's make it count." Part 3. The Trap. 05 p.m. The school was quiet now, hallways emptied, classrooms dark. The sun spilled golden light through the glass like something sacred was about to happen. But Amina Cross didn't feel holy. She felt hunted. Her feet echoed across the gymnasium floor as she walked inside, backpack slung tight, eyes scanning every shadow. The gym was massive. Too massive. Banners of old championship teams hung like ghosts. The bleachers were pushed back. The scoreboard frozen at 0000. She wasn't alone. She knew that before the door slammed shut behind her. Click. The sound echoed like a warning bell. "You came," said a voice from the far corner. Vincent Cole stepped out, arms crossed, smirk. Loaded. But he wasn't alone. Behind him stood his three shadows. Kyle, all mass, no mind. Brady, the runner, the talker. Zeke, silent, twitchy, too eager. Amina stopped in the center of the court. Her eyes never left Vincent's. "Of course you brought. Back up," she said dryly. "Didn't think you could handle this alone." Vincent's smile cracked. "This isn't about handling. It's about making sure everyone knows who's in charge." "You mean your daddy's money didn't fix your pride?" She shot back. His eyes darkened. "You embarrassed me." "No," Amina said, slowly dropping her bag. "You embarrassed yourself when you thought no one would fight back." The four boys began to circle her. Zeke cracked his knuckles. Kyle adjusted his jersey, like he was prepping for practice. Brady pulled out his phone. He was going to film it. Vincent stood still, watching, calculating. "I warned you," he said. "You tried to scare me," she corrected. Vincent nodded at Kyle. That was the signal. Kyle charged first, a freight train, with bad intentions. But Amina had studied him in the hallway. Slow pivot, wide stance. Always leaned left. She sidestepped, pivoted, used his momentum. Slam! He hit the wall hard, ribs first, and crumpled. Brady ran in next, swinging like a madman. She ducked the first punch, parried the second, grabbed his wrist, twisted. He howled. Knees buckled. She kicked him in the thigh, hard. Drop. Zeke hesitated. Too long. She didn't wait. 2 steps forward, elbow to the jaw. His head snapped sideways, down. 3 bodies on the floor. The gym echoed with the sound of wheezing. That left Vincent, just him, the king in a crumbling castle. He dropped the smirk, charged. His punches came wild, erratic, fueled by desperation. Amina ducked, moved, slipped left, countered. His knuckles grazed her cheek. She tasted copper. It woke something inside her. Not fear, focus. Strike when it's real, her uncle once told her. Only when your spirit is louder than their rage. She stepped forward. 1-2 combo, knee to gut. He gasped, grabbed his jacket collar, lifted, slammed him into the hardwood floor. The gym held its breath. Vincent groaned. He wasn't moving. Up in the corner of the gym, tucked behind a water cooler, a tiny camera blinked red. Dev Patel, from the safety of a nearby utility closet, whispered into a mic. "All angles, all clean. Got audio, got timestamps. You're covered, Amina." She heard the crackle in her earpiece, smiled for the first time, because this wasn't just justice, this was insurance. Amina stood over Vincent, breath steady, hair falling in strands over her eyes. She crouched next to him. "You're gonna remember this moment," she said, voice calm. "Because this is where your kingdom ended." He didn't respond, just stared at the ceiling. His boys groaned behind her. No one dared rise. She grabbed her backpack, walked toward the door, but before leaving, she turned back once. "You should have left me alone, Vincent." In her earbuds, Dev's voice whispered, "Whole thing's recorded. We're good. You're untouchable." "For now," she replied. "No, forever." By the next morning, Belmont High was imploding. The new video, even bigger than the first one. Different angles, full sound, clear faces, clear villain. Transfer, girl fights, of 4. Rich bullies in gym showdown. Justice served. Teachers tried to downplay it. Admin tried to bury it. But you can't bury a movement. The truth was out. And Amina Cross. She wasn't a rumor anymore. She was revolution. Part 4, Consequences and Collateral. Monday, 10:32 a.m. Belmont High wasn't just shaken, it was cracking, the kind of quiet that creeps after an earthquake, when the dust hasn't settled and everyone's waiting to see which building falls first. In the eye of that silence, Amina Cross. She walked through the front entrance like a soldier returning from war, but even victory has a price. Third period, an office aide tapped her desk, slipped her a note. No words, just 5 letters that made the whole class hold its breath. Principal's office. Dev looked at her from across the room, a small nod. He already knew. Amina entered the office with steady feet. Mr. Harlan sat behind his desk like a man who'd read a bad headline and realized his school was now national news. On the wall behind him, a news article flickered on the mounted TV. Private school under fire after bullying video goes viral. He didn't speak right away, just motioned to the seat across from him. She sat, back straight, voice ready. "You know this situation has escalated," he finally said, hands clasped tightly. "The video?" Amina asked. He nodded. "I've received calls from the school board, alumni donors, even local reporters. They want answers." "I have." "Them," she said. "4 boys jumped me. I defended myself. It's all on video." He sighed, long, tired, political. "Amina, your presence here, though celebrated online, has disrupted the school's culture." She tilted her head. "You mean I broke the hierarchy? I mean there are implications. The Cole family is threatening legal action." Of course they were. Entitlement doesn't fall silently. "Are you threatening to suspend me?" she asked. "I'm saying the board is watching this very closely. If this turns into a lawsuit..." She cut him off. "I have more footage. Audio, time-stamped. I can prove everything." Mr. Harlan's eyes twitched. "You're recording the school?" "No," she said, sliding a thumb drive onto his desk. "Dev is." And 10 minutes later, Dev Patel sat in that same office, hoodie, backpack, sweat on his palms. "Let me be clear," he said, voice shaking slightly. "We didn't do anything illegal." Mr. Harlan's brows rose. "I have time-stamped footage showing Amina entering the gym alone, the door locking behind her, the boys circling her, first punch thrown by Kyle Jefferson. I enhanced the audio to isolate it." He pulled a laptop from his bag, popped it open. Footage played. No music, no edits, just truth. Everything else was self-defense. Mr. Harlan leaned back, exhaled like someone who just saw his career flash before his eyes. By noon, the suspension threat was gone. Vanished under pressure and public visibility. Amina walked out of the office not just intact, but empowered. Students watched her like a myth in motion. But Dev walked beside her, quietly, like a shadow that finally mattered. By the end of the day, it was everywhere. Local news decks trending in the education feed. TikTok duets with commentary from teachers and martial artists. Belmont student uses self-defense to stand up to rich bullies. Young woman flips school system, literally. One popular YouTuber called her the new face of school justice. A self-defense group reposted her footage with the caption, "This is why we train our daughters." But Vincent wasn't done. His father filed a harassment complaint, claimed the video was manipulated, called Amina's presence a threat to academic stability. Dev hacked into a private legal forum and found the threads. "They're trying to build a smear campaign," he told her. "Let them," she replied. "But if this goes legal, we go public." She wasn't afraid anymore. She wasn't fighting to survive, she was fighting to exist. That same week, Amina got a letter. Not from Belmont, from the University of Washington's Youth Advocacy Initiative. They'd seen the footage, seen her response. Read an editorial Dev secretly submitted titled "Why Belmont Needed Amina Cross." The letter said, "We believe the world needs leaders like you. Please consider applying for our Early Collegiate Justice Fellowship." She didn't cry when she read it. She just folded the letter, tucked it into her sketchbook, and kept walking forward. By Friday, Belmont had changed. Not completely, but cracks had formed in the marble. The whispers weren't about her hoodie anymore. They were about her strength. Vincent? Gone. Transferred to a private academy in Boston. The story: health-related leave. But everyone knew the truth. The king had been dethroned, and the girl they never noticed. She'd carved her name into the bricks. Part 5, The Crown is Choice. Monday. 2 weeks later. Belmont High didn't look different. Same polished floors, same marble walls, same portraits of alumni who'd inherited their futures. But something beneath it had shifted, like the school had exhaled. The air no longer bent around Vincent Cole's presence. Now it bent around hers. Power had a way of creeping in quietly. At first it was looks in the hallway. Then it was students stopping her to say thank you. Then it was whispers from kids she didn't know. She's the reason I stood up to my lab partner. I told my dad no for the first time because of her. She made it okay to fight back. Amina Cross didn't win a crown, she just stopped waiting for one. It started with one girl, freshman, nervous. "Can you teach me?" she'd asked outside the library. Amina had paused, then said, "Meet me behind the gym after school." By the end of the week, there were 6 students. A week later, there were 23. By the month's end, she had a full circle of girls and a few boys learning how to block, breathe, and believe. Dev printed flyers, brought in soft mats, even coded a website. They called it Crosslines. Not a club, a movement. It was a Wednesday afternoon when it happened. Amina was walking home, hoodie up, headphones in, backpack full of calculus. She turned the corner near the bus stop and stopped. Was sitting on the bench, alone. No suit, no entourage, no swagger. Vincent Cole. He looked smaller somehow, not physically, spiritually, like someone who realized the mirror no longer lied to him. Their eyes met. Neither of them spoke. He stood, awkward, hands in his pockets. "I'm not here to start anything," he said quickly. "Good," she replied, calm but firm. A pause. Then, "I saw what you built," he said quietly. "The training circle, the name, it's cool." She said nothing. He nodded, looked at the sidewalk. "I didn't understand what it felt like to not be feared, until I wasn't." His voice broke slightly. Amina's jaw clenched. But she didn't step back. "You hurt a lot of people, Vincent," she said. "I know. You built yourself on their silence." He nodded again. "I thought power meant winning," he said. "You taught me it means choice." Another silence. Then he reached into his coat, pulled something out, a simple white envelope, offered it. She didn't move. "What is it?" "A letter. No threats, no games, just an apology." She took it, didn't open it, just looked at him one last time. "I don't hate you," she said, "but I'll never fear you again." And she walked away. She never did read it. She kept it in her sketchbook, unopened, untorn, because sometimes closure doesn't need to be heard. It just needs to be acknowledged. By spring, Crosslines had its own room, a club sponsor, even grant money from a local women's foundation. Amina didn't just flip a bully, she flipped the blueprint. Freshmen were walking taller, girls weren't shrinking in classrooms. Even the teachers started listening more carefully when students said, "I'm uncomfortable." A ripple turned into a wave into a tide. The letter came one Friday afternoon from the University of Washington, same initiative that had sent her the first offer. Only this time, it was official. Full-ride scholarship, pre-law track, youth advocacy fellowship, paid summer internship with a social justice firm. Her mom cried when she read it. Amina didn't cry. She sat on the porch, headphones in, legs crossed, and smiled into the sunset. The last thing Dev posted before graduation was a clip, just 5 seconds. Amina in the gym, flipping Brady. Caption: "She didn't just flip him, she flipped the school." And below that, in white text, Amina Cross didn't change Belmont. She reminded it that silence is a choice. and she chose to speak. They say every school has a ghost story, some tale students pass down to warn the next. Wave of freshmen. At Belmont High, they don't whisper about haunted lockers anymore. They whisper about the girl who stood her ground and never backed down. They whisper her name like a legend, Amina Cross. Not because she won a fight, but because she showed them how to choose truth over tradition, power over fear, and peace only after the war is won. The end.